Good evening, friends, and welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We are retired New York City police detectives and 9/11 World Trade Center first responders. Hey, if you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, you're in the right spot. Hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you'll go all things DutyRon and this guy right over here, Ed Wallace, when we go live or upload another video. Tonight, as promised, we're going to go over week 3 in the Michelle Troconis trial. She stands accused of conspiracy to commit murder of Jennifer Dulos with Fotis Dulos. I always say photos. But before we get into that, we're going to cover week 3. We both want to say a special thank you to the Patreon supporters, the channel members, the replay viewers, the moderators, the folks who buy us cups of coffee, who shop on our Amazon link and support this great learning community. You guys and girls are what makes this a great place. And Ed Wallace and I give thanks and praise. We appreciate all of your support. Ed, how you doing tonight? And heck, you took a massive amount of notes in this trial during the week. And I want to put you full screen so you can show everybody what you've been up to.
All right, folks. So I was in Houston, as Ron says, doing Army training, sir. And after a hard day's work, I get back to the hotel, clean myself up, sit down, open my computer after I eat, and take out the trial and watch the trial for the whole day. Now, when I started watching on Monday, I didn't have any paper. I had no pad or anything like that. So I took an old trick taught to me by a colonel from the United States Army, that I used to work for. And he would always, Colonel Tucker, Tom Tucker is his name, over in Maryland. And he would always take out napkins and write notes and speeches. And, we would give him Christmas gifts of packs of napkins so that he could write his notes on. And so taking a page out of his handbook and not having any paper to write on, I just started writing all my notes
on a napkin.
On napkins, and these are napkins that were divided into 6 equal rectangles. So I had pretty good organization here.
Yeah.
And then when I get home, then I finished it off in my legal pad, of notes on the trial and, what I saw.
That was like when we were on patrol, Ed, in the early days of our careers. We used to write stuff on our fly sheet, on all the scratch notes on our fly sheet in a notepad.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say, again, thank you for your dedication, Ed, to covering all these cases with us. And, this just shows your dedication. You grab whatever has to be grabbed and you write your notes. Before we get into it, there is a ton of, chatter, online chatter as it pertains to Michelle Troconis. And I put, she's on trial. This is week 3. They talked about 6 or 8 weeks with this trial. I have a pinned poll, and it basically says, do you feel that the state of Connecticut, has proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt thus far? Now, remember, folks, we're only 3 weeks into this thing. So they said it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks, I believe, Ed. So we're just around maybe the midway point of this. But I do want to know, and Ed and I both are very interested in seeing what the feel is. So make sure you go and participate in that poll. Let us know in the chat what you think. And we're always loving to see what you guys are thinking. I'm going to play a little piece from local news, and this is going to give you a little bit of, I believe, day 16, Friday.
Testing, day 15 of the Michelle Troconis trial had jurors testing.
This is day 15.
Day 15 of the Michelle Troconis trial had jurors getting a heavy dose of testimony regarding results from the state lab. Channel 3 New Haven Bureau Chief Matt McFarland is live tonight outside Stamford Superior Court with more on what happened today. Matt.
Hi there, Aaron. Well, the focus today, jurors listening to testimony from a now retired employee from the state laboratory who was tasked with testing a number of pieces of evidence for blood. Over her 20-year career at the state lab, Catherine Roy told jurors how she's analyzed hundreds of items as a forensic examiner, including confirmatory blood tests on this red-stained shirt and bra state police pulled from a trash can in Hartford.
Positive. So therefore, I could say human blood was detected.
Roy detailed how she also performed a number of screening tests for blood connected to the case of missing mom Jennifer Farber Dulos. From the interior side panel of the red Toyota pickup truck, investigators believe traveled from Farmington to New Canaan on the day Jennifer disappeared, along with a number of black garbage bags, 2 clear ponchos, zip ties, and this white towel, all with stains.
I did the screening test for blood and it was positive, and then I cut out a sample and then sent a portion of that cutting to DNA.
But when it came time for cross-examination, Michelle Troconis' attorney focused on the fact that out of all the pieces of evidence with blood-like stains, only 3 confirmatory tests were done.
We're going to just be hearing that almost everything tested negative. There are, of course, things that we already know that are positive. There was definitely blood in at least one trash receptacle, and I'm not surprised that it's going to be Jennifer Dulos's blood.
Before Roy, jurors heard from Sydney Streeter, the court-ordered parenting supervisor, who was there in New Canaan when Doulos visited with his kids and interacted with his wife just 2 days before it's alleged he killed her.
They were interacting in a friendly manner.
I would say so.
In other words, it appeared to you they were getting along. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Now, Roy will be back on the stand when testimony resumes tomorrow morning. Once she's wrapped up, it's expected that we will hear from another one of her former colleagues in the forensic biology unit at the state lab. We're live at the mobile newsroom at Stanford Superior.
This trial had jurors
So there you have it, folks. Ed, I wanted to go to you on your take before we go into each day. Thus far, what's your take as a CSI expert and somebody in the forensic field? How do you feel about this trial thus far, Ed?
Well, it's highly unusual the way the prosecutors are doing this trial. So I mean, they're bringing people in, and then they have to bring them back in to give more testimony, and bring them back in to give more testimony. So they're going chronologically through the events and participation in the investigation. And it's a little different than I'm used to here in New York. And I find a lot of the evidence, a lot of the testimony, I can only imagine what the jurors are thinking, and how bored they may be, and how technical some of this stuff is really becoming. It's like, if I was a juror, I'd be like, okay, like the old Wendy's commercial. Where's the meat? Where's the beef? Right? The old lady saying, "Where's the beef?" Right?
And the judge even alluded to the prosecutor and the defense, especially the prosecutor. He said, "I want to move this along. He's worried that the jurors, as you said, are going to become bored because."
And, for those of you saying that there's no evidence in the chat, that's not true. It's there. It's in. They just released that affidavit last week. I got a hold of it when I was away, and that affidavit lists the connections there with MT. She's definitely caught there. They have her ID'd in numerous ways. We'll get to that in a little bit, but it's there. It's just that they're taking such a slow time to get to this. All right. First of all, they're proving that in fact Fotis killed his estranged wife, and that he dumped the parts, and that MT was there. There's no denying that. And then they had a lot of testimony about her interviews. Okay. And so we're going to break it all down for you. It's coming together, but just slowly. And then if you read the affidavit, well, you've already jumped ahead, like you hit fast forward. Because to me, I'm like binge watching this thing. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden I saw the, I spoiler alert, right? Spoiler alert. I got the affidavit and I got right to the end of it. And that portion of the trial hasn't come up yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone has to be patient with this. This is not one of these short little trials. This is a long haul trial. We also heard testimony about potential teeth being recovered, and that was cringeworthy in itself because we have no recovery of Jennifer Dulos's body, and there's speculation and there's people, chatting in the forensic field that there's potentiality for dismemberment here. There's the potentiality for a whole bunch of different options of what Fotis did with her remains. Mother of five, this case lit up the internet in 2019 like a Christmas tree, and people were talking about this time and time again. May 24th of 2019, the internet exploded with this case, and now it's at trial, and people are wanting to hear, like you said, Ed, where's the beef, right? They're skating around, and as far as I see, the conspiracy to commit murder, and some of the other components of what Traconis is charged with here. I'm not seeing anything. I'm seeing a whole lot of stuff that's showing that Fotis killed Jennifer, but at the end of the day, we want to see the conspiracy to commit murder spelled out without any doubt here. So
I will give a shout out to the Connecticut State Police on their canvassing all of these different communities and highways and so forth for video footage of the movements of Fotis in his Raptor and in his in using his workers Toyota Tacoma. They did a great job. They got a great timeline. They nailed that down, the movements. And when we get into it, you'll see how it, I was on the edge of my seat the other day, right? Watching all the videos. And so, okay, we got this great timeline and the movements with these vehicles. And we see them, how they're coming and going from the various locations, and how they tracked him leaving in the morning from one of his locations down to where the estranged wife lives. And so we're going to get into it. You'll see it. It was really great work.
Absolutely. When we saw those DOT cameras and all of the legwork that they did, and two of the actual neighbors, one directly across the street with that awesome golden retriever barking at Fotis as he pulled up into his driveway. And
I kept saying, good doggy, good doggy.
Yeah, exactly.
Dogs know. Dogs know.
And those Ring video doorbells, they're motion activated, and it's all about how sensitive you put the sensitivity up on it. And apparently, as far as her testimony went, is the sensitivity was really up high on the Ring video doorbell, because she said she was not only getting in front of her house and the street, she was also getting Fotis's residence. So when there was movement there, thank God it was going off. But the good old man's best friend, a woman's best friend, the dog, was out there at the right time,
and growling and barking at Fotis when he got out of the car to go over to the mailbox.
He knew that he was up to no good, and dogs know. Mm-hmm. So we want to start out with day 12, but I want the folks in the chat, the live chatters, to just take a moment to give this video a thumbs up and share it out onto your social media platform. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button. It's free to do it. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't necessarily have to become a member to be a part of this community. Just hit the subscribe button. It's free. Ed and I appreciate that. And if you can share it out onto your social media platforms, that always helps out. Hashtag DutyRon and hashtag Ed. At the second part of this live stream, we're going to ask a few of you guys to come up. You don't have to engage your cameras, just to engage your audio, and you guys could come up and ask questions as it pertains to Michelle Troconis and her trial and where they're at thus far. And if you have forensic questions, Ed is here to answer them. So Debbie Carroll, you know what? Here, Debbie, I see her in Law and Crime's chat all day, every day. And Debbie, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but you, my friend, have been following this trial like there's no tomorrow. So Debbie Carroll is here, part of our community, but also part of the Law and Crime community. She says, at Ron and Ed, Michelle Troconis was sitting at a table and texting during the trial. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. It was disgusting.
Utter insanity. So we're going to start off day 12 at the 57-minute mark. Ed, what are we going to be looking at here? Day 12. That was Monday, correct?
That was Monday. Yeah. So go with it. It clarifies, I think the first one clarifies the issue about whether or not the police can lie during interviews.
All right, so let's take a listen. This is the defense attorney.
Yes.
I think we all have come to have a love-hate relationship with criminal defense attorneys, but this one in particular gets my blood boiling because he's dragging this thing out like there's no tomorrow. But let's take a listen.
Inaccurate, isn't that true?
Fair to say, yes.
As a detective, we started to get into this, but I wanted to explore this a little more. You have actually been trained in investigative techniques, right?
Yes.
At least when dealing with adult suspects, adult witnesses, you are allowed to make up stuff, aren't you? To them.
Yes.
You're allowed to provide false information as a means of trying to elicit information from that individual, right?
Yes, correct.
So, for example, it's not in this case, but if you had told a suspect that someone else was confessing against them, you would be hoping that would elicit that person to say, "Oh, it wasn't me. I was just the standby. It was that other person." Isn't that a regular technique that's used?
Yes.
Okay, Ron.
Sometimes if you have two people in custody at the same time, you have one detective saying the same thing to that other person, seeing who's going to talk first, right?
Yep. Yes.
That's good, Ron.
No, it's Andrew.
So there you go, Ed.
So that puts to bed that issue. Okay, so apparently in Connecticut, you can't do it with minor people under arrest, but you can do it with adults. Okay, so we can use subterfuge. We could make up stories. We can lie. Let's put it as it is. We could lie in an effort to obtain the truth from someone that we feel is being less than honest.
Right. And there was that conversation early on in this trial, the conversation between the prosecutor and the defense about whether this was, you were allowed to do this. And there was a little confusion, but it got settled right there.
That's right. Yes, so it is okie dokie. It's called a ruse. Okay. So let's go on to the next one.
So the next one here is we move all the way up to the 6 hour and 33-minute mark. What are we going to be listening to here?
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay.
It's in my notes.
And in fact, in August, you asked the defendant, the detective Labby asked the defendant point blank,
Ron, you're not sure.
whether or not she had been 100% truthful.
Say again?
First,
Yeah, no, that was it. Play it.
Okay.
correct?
Objection outside the scope of recross. I didn't bring up anything about August 13th, and it's clearly leading now. That has not yet come in. What happens on August 13th will be revealed when the videos are played.
Well, the question has to do with whether or not at a later date the defendant admitted or there was an indication that the defendant was not 100% truthful. If the date was left out, the question would still be admissible. Did the defendant at any time indicate that she was not 100% truthful? So the fact that there was mentioned August 13th in this court view doesn't render the question inadmissible.
Yeah, but I would also note that would be a mischaracterization, the way this, of what she actually said, and we could get into it, but that's not right now being played. So that's, it's not how she characterized it.
Respectfully, counsel went into numerous recross-examination about what sometimes people do. He cross-examined the detective, essentially trying to suggest that Mr. Troconis was being truthful and the detective wouldn't know any better. And so I'm exploring that avenue, which he opened the door to at this point.
Again, the question, because perhaps the question itself was not quoted word for word, counsel is objecting as a mischaracterization. The court does not remember the word for word exchange. But the court does recall in a subsequent interview that the term 100% truthful was used. The court does not recall the word for word exchange. court is not going to foreclose the question, but if there's an objection as to mischaracterization, the court at this time would not be able to determine that it was or was not mischaracterized. But the court's not foreclosing the question, but the court is not able at this point to determine whether it's a mischaracterization.
Was the defendant asked by either you or Detective Clabby whether or not she was ready to admit that she had not been 100% truthful in her first
Did you see the judge go? He just like leaned back and like, here we go.
2 interviews?
Yes.
Okay,
And what
there
was
you
her-
go. Shut it down. So folks, there we have it, where the lead detective here has told the jury that she admitted during the several of the interviews, she had given previous interviews, and then during this one interview, she admitted she had not been 100% truthful in the previous interviews. She's changed her story. Now, the inference being is that at closing argument, they could say, if you believe she lied about this, then you can infer she lied about everything. Okay, and that could come in at the end of the trial, and now that could be a very big problem to overcome for the defense team. Okay, she's already been proven to have lied. Okay,
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next one.
I just want to say I put it in a little bit of a chat, a little bit of a question. Hey, who likes this defense attorney? And you know what? Defense attorneys, their job is to be annoying and to bring up every little piece and to bring up just that slight little bit of doubt. And I think thus far he's doing the best job that he can with the knowledge base that he has to do that. So I actually, if I was being accused of something, I would want my defense team to work hard for me. It's just annoying.
Well, no,
It's
but
annoying for us.
But he does get spanked a couple of times by witnesses.
Yeah.
You're going to see that, and I was like, oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So here we are. We're at the 1 hour and 6 minute mark. Day 13, Ed. We're on to
Day
day
13.
13.
Okay.
We have the this is the sergeant, right? Retired or lieutenant?
I think it's
Sergeant
Sergeant.
Michael Butin.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
How did he respond? He then elaborated further on his comings and goings and stated that after coming from New Canaan, he stopped down the road at a property also owned by Mr. Dulos, number 585 Deercliff. And he had indicated to me that he was removing vehicle seats from a Porsche that belonged to Fotis so that he could put them into his own truck.
Okay. So what we have here is the sergeant went to Fotis's house to serve warrants on Fotis MT and search warrants for the house. And they were going to seize the house and they were going to evict everybody out of the house, including MT's daughter and mother. Okay. So they weren't there. So while the detectives and sergeants were there, okay, our friend, the owner of the red Toyota Tacoma, comes driving down the street past the front of Fotis's house in the white Jeep. So he slowly drives by, looking up, seeing all the police activity, and doesn't stop, goes to the end of the cul-de-sac and comes back, at which point they go running down to the street because they know that white Jeep is Fotis's, okay? And they go down there and they stop him in the street. And that's when they noticed in the back of the car the two Porsche seats, front seats from the Porsche, and a package of paper towels and the power tools that will later be recovered from, well, not recovered, but documented from their examination of the white Jeep. And during this conversation with him, was it Doulos? I believe his name is Doulos.
Doulos. Yep.
Doulos, yeah, Doulos. Doulos originally consented to have them search it, but then he said, you know, I don't own this car, so I'm going to take that back. And he did. At that time, they didn't seize that vehicle, but they used him to get a hold of Fotis to tell him to come back to the house. And Fotis in the Suburban came back with MT's daughter and mother. And at that time, they were served warrants. They were let back into the house to grab some bag of clothes because they were going to be living out of a hotel or someplace else for the entire time the Connecticut State Police were going to be in possession of their house based on the warrant that was obtained. And at that time, they will bring them back to the Connecticut police headquarters for the initial interviews that started.
Now we're going to go and move forward to the 4-hour mark in this trial on day 13 to the lieutenant, actually the state trooper, Gregory LeBeau. LeBeau, I believe he's retired.
Yes.
And he's on the stand giving testimony here. Ed,
And he does a great job with testimony. He was a school safety officer, and he got tasked to look at videotapes from the Merrick Parkway on the rest stops at New Canaan and what's the other rest stop?
we're going to listen to it. They're going to talk about it. Yeah, let's take a
Screen
listen.
either behind you or in front of you. At some point in your review of the southbound Merritt Parkway rest area camera at
Ron?
Yeah.
Stop it for a second. Is there not another video before this?
Mm-mm.
You sure? Okay. All right. Because let me just set this up then. So we have video that the Connecticut State Police have obtained. Hold on. Let me just grab my notes here.
This is 432 to 434, and then there's the 437 to 438.
Right. So
There's more.
the Connecticut State Police pick up. Okay. Yes. Yeah. There should have been another one from Sergeant Moody. At the 77 Mountain Spring is the house across the street from the huge house that Fotis is trying to sell. And at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, they see their camera picks up the red Tacoma pickup truck leaving that property at 5:30 a.m. on the day, May 24th. Okay. And then from there, it makes a turn and appears to head towards the Merritt Parkway. So they have that bit of information.
Yeah.
So now they
Going back to see if there's anything on this. I see some overhead shots here.
Yeah, that's the defense. If you keep going back, there should be more. But anyhow, then they task this officer who is not really in the criminal investigation section, and he keep going back, Ron. He does a bang up job of going to. He goes to the New Canaan rest stop, and he also goes to the Fairfield rest stop and gathers video in both rest stops. Now, there's rest stops on the
Is this
southbound
it?
lane.
Is this it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Go back. Yeah.
Okay, let's play this.
Real time. Actually, it might have been.
So now this video camera, you're going to see,
Thank you.
is 1 day and 10 minutes off in its time. But up in the upper right corner,
Can you just orient the jury where?
by the timestamp, is the driveway to Fotis's property that he's trying to sell here. So then
Okay.
you can see the time. Now go back a few 10 minutes early. So just go back just a hair. Okay. Go.
Yeah.
So you can see it's being covered by the numbers, but there's the red pickup coming out. And it makes a left and heads towards the Merrick Parkway.
Yeah, you can see the truck there.
Okay.
Comes by for a second.
But the point is now this is not where he lives. This is a house that he's trying to sell, and it's under construction, right? And this is the house they allegedly went back to clean up. Okay. So everything starts.
Hours at this house. This is the
That's
house.
right. Everything starts at this house with that red Tacoma coming down the driveway right now, and he's going to make that left. All right. So they got this. Now they task our next video.
You want me to skip all the way forward?
Yeah, go back to where we were when you.
Yep.
Go back. Go back.
Southbound.
Now, I'm going to draw your attention to the screen either behind you or in front of you. At some point in your review of the southbound Merritt Parkway rest area camera at Fairfield, did you find anything of evidentiary value?
I found a red pickup that was consistent with a Toyota Tacoma.
Did you review what you found, or what time did you find that?
6:36 a.m.
After finding that, what did you do?
I took a screenshot of that.
If you can, sir, I'm gonna draw your attention to the screen behind you. If you can, Your Honor, may I just have him stand up by the
Yes.
screen? Thank you.
Sure.
What exactly are we looking at here?
So we're looking at the outside front of the Fairfield rest area.
Okay. And the road in the upper left-hand corner?
This is Route 15, north to south.
And now, as you watched this at the Milford rest area, were you able to stop and start it and rewind and fast forward?
I was.
Did you utilize that in your review?
I did.
And it took you days to go through this?
Days.
Yes, okay. And by the way, just to briefly, you, in your 20 years as a trooper, were you, did you patrol the area of the Merritt Parkway?
I certainly did.
Okay. And just with respect to Western District Major Crimes, were you ever involved or assigned to the Western District Major Crimes Unit?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Were you ever involved, were you ever a detective with the Western District Major Crimes?
I was not.
Okay, and with respect to this investigation, did you primarily review just the video footage from the Merritt Parkway?
Correct.
Thank you. If you can, sir, take a look. At what time does that vehicle of interest appear on the screen? If you could just let me know.
Right there. 6:36 and 19 seconds.
If you could just point, sir, for the record, he's pointing to the upper left screen. How can you tell?
So it had the same characteristics as a Toyota Tacoma. We had a chrome rear bumper, silver chrome rear bumper, and a silver tubular running board step side, if you will.
And did you, by the way, for the Fairfield southbound rest area camera, were there other camera angles as well? Not just this one that we're seeing right now?
There was.
Did you take screenshots of the different camera angles?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Now, in your review of this camera angle, sir, did you see any other red Toyota Tacomas?
I did.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, but you didn't clip those
No,
or screenshot those?
I did not.
Why this one?
This one had all the characteristics of the photo that I received of the red Toyota Tacoma that I was looking for. The previous had a red painted bumper and no tubular step side to it.
Okay. After the Fairfield southbound, did you look at the New Canaan southbound?
I did.
By the way, how far away, you can have a seat, I'm sorry. Thank you. How far away is it, or how far is the distance between the Fairfield rest area and the New Canaan rest area?
I don't have that number offhand.
Okay. You've traveled there from Fairfield rest area to New Canaan rest area?
I have, yes.
Have you ever traveled there at 6:30 on a Friday morning?
I have, yes.
Okay. About how long did it take you?
30 minutes, possibly.
Did you review the Route 15 southbound cameras at the rest area, New Canaan?
I did.
Did you find that a vehicle consistent with the red Toyota Tacoma?
I did.
What time?
7:03.
Okay. If I may just have a minute, can you help me play that? Thank you. Yeah, put it in charge. If I can, Your Honor, I'm just asking for assistance on the play the video. Yeah.
What did they say, Ed? Over 300 witnesses they had a call for this case in total?
Yeah, and they keep recalling some of the previous witnesses as their timeline progresses to come back and talk about what they did at that point in time in the investigation.
I wonder if anyone's keeping track. If there is somebody keeping track in the chat or somebody who's watching the replay, let
Sir,
us
if
know
you can, just take a look
what
behind
we're
you.
up to week 3, completion of
Do you
week 3
recognize
going into
that?
week 4.
I do.
Now, did the vehicle in question appear?
It did.
Okay, I'm gonna actually
Ron,
rewind it.
take your banner off.
I can.
It's yeah, take your banner off. It's blocking the video.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you could just tell me, please.
Right there.
Okay. Sir, does that vehicle have the same characteristics, I guess, that you were indicating before?
It does, may I?
If you can,
Sure.
please.
Chrome rear bumper. Call it a chrome running board. You also have silver rims. 2 doors.
Did you screenshot and save this clip as well?
I did.
And the time that this vehicle appears?
7:03 and 35.
And the time that it was previously seen on the New Keenan rest area? I mean, I'm sorry, the Fairfield rest area?
6:36.
So about a half hour later?
About.
Would you mind helping? Thank you. Next one? Yes, please. Now, did you look for a different time or different cameras as well?
I did.
What cameras did you look for?
I looked in relation to the southbound New Canaan.
Actually, can I ask you about northbound?
You sure can.
Okay, did you look for the vehicle or any of the vehicles northbound on
I did.
the Merritt Parkway? Starting with the Fairfield, no, I'm sorry, starting with the New Keenan rest area,
Yes.
did you find any vehicles of interest with respect to the vehicle traveling on the northbound route of the Merritt Parkway?
I did.
Which vehicle?
It was a vehicle consistent with a red Toyota Tacoma.
And what time was that?
That was 11:12.
And again, the time was accurate?
The time was accurate.
Okay, so folks, he's at 11:12. The car is back on the Merritt Parkway, heading back up to where he came from. Okay. But this is an important part too.
This one I have to speed up too.
This video is probably one of the clearest here, and it has a piece of evidence that the prosecutor tried to get in through this witness, and the judge shut her down, but she got it in anyhow in a different
I'm
way.
gonna draw your attention to, can you go back to about 11 minutes, sir. I'm just gonna play it. If you see the vehicle and that you identified, can you please let me know and I will stop it.
Yeah, this is clear video.
Yeah, and it's closer to the highway. Once the red Jeep comes by, then you know that pretty right thereafter is the pickup truck is coming.
I have this sped up just a little bit.
Okay.
Boom, there's the red Jeep.
Okay, next is going to be the pickup truck in the left lane. Right lane, rather, right lane.
Boom.
No, that's not it. Next, it's the next truck,
There it is.
right there.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh,
let me
and
see
it
if I can
goes
go
by.
back. Can you- Thank you.
But they're going to freeze frame this, okay? They're going to pull it back up. He took screenshots
Pauline, I'm a one-man show here.
That's it.
Comes to tech.
He's the tech.
Without Josh, too. May he rest in peace. I miss him.
She's going to stop it on this one.
Right there.
Perfect.
Yeah. And she zooms in.
Okay, sir.
Oh,
If
wow.
you can, why did you take this shot?
So this vehicle also consistent with a red Toyota Tacoma, and also had the same characteristics as the vehicle in the picture that I had. Tubular running board, silver rims. Also is a snowplow hitch in the front of the vehicle under the front bumper, black grill, black bumper, and two-door.
Were you able to zoom in similar to what I did just there? Or well, what Attorney Moran was able to do?
Yes,
Right.
it was.
Okay. With respect to the trunk and the cargo area, sir, what do you see there?
So something else I noticed in the bed of the pickup truck was a white square looking object, as well as a round object. It's consistent with a white square.
Well, the testimony is what the witness was able to observe was a white square object and a round object, and then consistent with, well, what's the objection?
What it's consistent with, it looks like that video is.
No, counsel, the code of evidence, speculation, sustained.
Ooh. Love
If I
it.
may, Your Honor. Sir, did you take a screenshot of this this image?
I did.
And did you convey that to anybody?
I conveyed it to Sergeant Bentrust.
Okay. And with respect to the, let's see, any other, this was New Canaan? I apologize.
It was, yes.
It was New Canaan. And what time was this?
This was 11:12.
Okay. Did you also see a vehicle consistent with that same red truck with those characteristics at the Fairfield northbound?
I did,
At about what time?
at about 11:25.
So that was the bike that they were looking at. And he couldn't testify what he thought it was, but she's going to go back to that with his stills of the screen captures close up, and you can clearly see it's a bike, and the jurors got to see it's a bike.
And, sir, is that as,
Blurry
guess
as hell,
clear.
though.
is that the vehicle that you saw?
It is.
Okay.
She's got a
Now,
clearer
with
picture of it.
respect to after, thank you, thank you. After seeing these videos, you indicated you created screenshots. You can have a seat,
I
sir.
did, yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
So the bike we're talking about is a potential missing classic bike from Germany that Fotis had. And that a portion of the bike's label was found in one of the garbage cans. Okay, and there is going to be video that hasn't come into trial yet that is talked about in the affidavit of somebody in a dark hoodie on a bicycle heading to Jennifer's house.
Indicating he perhaps had help.
No, indicating that he rode down there with that Jeep, parked that Jeep on the same road he brought the Suburban to with Jennifer in the back of the Suburban, transferred her body. He parked that there, got on his bike, rode the bike to her house, waited for her to come home, attacked her, put her in the back of the Suburban, drove back to where he had parked his Toyota, transferred the body and the bike to the back and the body inside the red Toyota, and then started heading back up to the residence he was seen coming out of.
Interesting. Wow. Makes a lot of sense. So here,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Now, later on, we're going to see more about how a school two school buses actually captured that red Tacoma parked on the same road they found Jennifer's abandoned Suburban.
So you have 448.57 for us to start to 450.20.
Okay.
So here we are.
Okay,
This
so
is
she took,
this is 2019. Let it be 2019.
yes, so she took his screen capture, and now she's gonna zoom in on that bed, and you can clearly see the bicycle.
You made that day?
Right
It
here,
is.
right?
Did you convey
Yeah.
this information to,
Folks, pay
anybody else
attention
besides
to right
Sergeant
here.
Francesca?
Detective Kimball.
She's gonna go in and closer, and you're gonna see more detail of the bike, the handlebars, the wheels.
Perfect.
Why did you take this shot, sir?
Bless you.
I was extremely interested in the objects in the back of the pickup truck.
And states 87?
Wow. Now
Can you zoom in there? Can you zoom in?
Well, let me stop it.
Take us off and make it larger.
No, you can't. It's not letting me.
If you take us off, can you make it larger? Pull it down. There it goes. Look at that, folks. There's the bike, wheel, handlebar.
Boom.
It's not speculation now. It's no, he sustained the objection, right? That he wouldn't let him characterize it as a bike. Look at that. To get that. Oh, that's awesome. Look, can anybody say that's not a bike?
You could see the wheel. This looks like the front. Here,
Right? You can see the
handlebar.
frame, the handlebars. So now the jury has seen this. Okay.
Yeah, this is a bike. There's no question.
And they can request that photo when they go to deliberations to look at that. You know, it's a bike.
Busted.
Same. I was interested to see if I could identify what was in the back of the red pickup truck.
Thank you.
Now Jennifer is in that vehicle at this point in time.
Oof.
Now, sir, after
Well, you know, Ed, some would say, again, in here, they're trying to put Michelle Troconis as in this conspiracy to commit this murder. This is showing that Fotis, in fact, did kill Jennifer Dulos.
Right.
But is it showing that Michelle Troconis conspired with him?
Well, right now he's heading back to 80 Mountain Spring Road, where she is going to go join him to clean up. She says she's cleaning up the house. But the sponge that she brings and the other evidence that she brings has Jennifer's blood on it.
Now we move ahead to the 5 hour and 47 minute mark and 25 seconds. And it looks like Sergeant Kenny Ventresca is from the Connecticut State Police on the stand. Ed.
Yes.
been seized and searched by the Western District Major Crime Van?
Yes.
What about the Toyota Tacoma?
No.
At some point had, as part of the search of those vehicles, were photographs taken?
Yes.
And subsequent to that, were photographs taken of the Toyota Tacoma as well?
Yes.
Were you informed of the results of Trooper LeBeau's review of the surveillance footage?
Yes.
And did you take any action with respect to those results?
Yeah, so after Trooper LeBeau's findings, specifically northbound, Merritt Parkway, we then video canvassed businesses alongside Route 8 northbound.
Now, you said northbound.
Slacker, we'll get to this in a minute.
Northbound.
There is connection.
Okay. So Slacker, we're going to get to that in a second. So just hang on. And Slacker's been reading a lot of the chatter out there in Facebook and Twitter, over on X, and some of the chat rooms, possibly on Facebook as well. There's a lot of people chatting about this. There's a lot of chatter about it, but again, the evidence, the science, the case is not completely put forward yet. We're just midway through it.
Results, I guess, important.
Can you repeat that? Results? Is that what you said?
You indicated in your answer that because of Trooper LeBeau's results of his review of the surveillance footage, particularly northbound results. What was it about the northbound results?
So northbound, we had an approximate time of a vehicle consistent with this red Toyota Tacoma pickup truck. Therefore, we're able to map out in time when a vehicle would possibly be traveling through a certain location.
Okay, what time did it appear on the Fairfield New Canaan rest area?
Fairfield and New Canaan?
Oh, I'm sorry, Fairfield rest area.
Roughly 11:25-ish.
So based on that result, what did you do?
Myself and Detective Frechette, we traveled up Route 8 North, where the Merritt Parkway joins with Route 8. Obviously, that is a route back to Farmington. With that being said, now we know that if this vehicle is passing the northbound Fairfield rest area at a specific time, I've driven that route numerous times, so I knew approximately maybe it was about 15 to 20 minutes from the Fairfield rest area to a business I found on Route 8 with cameras.
What was the business called?
Valley Transit District.
Was Valley Transit District, well, what kind of business is it?
There's a train station in there, buses. It's to the area where it just transports people back and forth.
Did they have any video cameras that covered the highway or
They
Route
did.
8?
Yes.
And does that also capture both northbound and southbound of Route 8?
Yes.
Were you able to review that video footage?
Yes.
Did you review it on site at Valley Transit?
I reviewed, I got the video in two parts. You want me to get into that or?
Sure.
Okay.
If you could
So I
just answer how you
reviewed
got-
the northbound Route 8 area, approximately in the 11:30 to 11:45, 11:50-ish timeframe. I was anticipating a red Tacoma that was going to be traveling up Route 8. And at 11:40 hours on 5/24, I observed a vehicle consistent with Pavel's red Tacoma.
And why is that specific time frame?
Because of the time traveled from Fairfield to the time traveled to Valley Transit District, which is right alongside Route 8. It was approximately 15 to 20 minutes. So we narrowed down our scope of what we're going to be looking for.
On your review that day so we're going northbound on Route 8 around the 11:40, 45 time period that you just said, when you were reviewing the video surveillance at Valley Transit, was the time accurate?
Yes.
How did you know?
So I used my agency issued cell phone and I marry up the times with my cell phone time.
And did you find anything of evidentiary value to you when you were reviewing that time period?
Yes.
What did you find?
I observed a red Toyota Tacoma, what appeared to be a red Toyota Tacoma, consistent with Pavel's Toyota Tacoma. traveling
Your Honor,
northbound on
object
Route 8.
to his opinion about whose it is. He can testify it was a red Tacoma.
Well, there's already been evidence as to who drove or to whom the Tacoma belonged. Overruled.
Now sit down.
Sir, Your Honor, this would be States 91. Odd 91 files 1 through 6 or 1 through 3. The state's intending to introduce 4, 5, and 6 come out of another exhibit, but they're clips. And then there is one map the state would offer them.
I just want to applaud you very briefly, if I may.
The court is not certain of what the offer is.
If I can, Your Honor, the state's offer of proof is that the video surveillance from Valley Transit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are clips out of the 77 Mountain Spring Road video, which came in its entirety yesterday.
Fast
These
forward it, Ron.
are those 2 days that came in.
Say again?
Fast forward it
How far?
until we see the video.
Because this is a lot of argument back and forth.
Yeah, we missed the female, Ron, we missed the female officer. All right, but let's finish this up. Pat, keep going, keep going. Keep it right there, go right there. Go back just a
Let me
little
go
bit.
back.
All right.
All right. I don't know what's happening here. We got
It's
the
buffering, it's
death
buffering.
buffer. Okay, I'll leave it right there.
I'm sorry, just north of the shelter between Sheldon and
All right, so he's showing on the map.
Okay, and the information you received from Trooper LeBeau from the Fairfield Rest area, is that depicted on that map as well?
Yeah, 6:36, I'm sorry, 12:25 p.m.
Now, with respect to 80 Mountain Spring Road and 4 Jefferson Crossing, you've been there,
Yes.
correct? Okay, is that area depicted on the map?
Yeah, Ron, pass this over.
Thank you, you can have a seat, sir.
There, right. Go back just a little bit more, right there.
I'm gonna,
Okay. So he's gonna spot the truck here.
Right there.
No, not that one.
okay, I'm gonna stop it there at 5 seconds. Sir, do you see that red truck in the middle of the screen? Did you mark that as or designate that as a vehicle of interest?
I did, yes, initially. Just because of the color and the type of body. Pickup truck color red, and then upon further inspection, you can see the appears that has the cover on the back. And I don't see side steps on there. So the whole front end is slightly different as well. To me, it doesn't look like a Toyota Tacoma.
Okay, safe to say there are other trucks, red trucks traveling on Route 8?
Absolutely.
Okay, did you look at everyone that you found?
Every red truck that passed.
And I'm gonna show you file 2.
While she does that, I want to just say one thing. I want to put us back on. Don't you guys find this odd in the chat? And this is for our chat friends and the replay viewers. Don't you find it odd that Michelle Troconis and Fotis Dulos are driving into all different shady areas that these are wealthy people, and they don't really go into places where there's high crime or people who might try to carjack them or try to rob them or try to do so. Don't you find it odd? And just let me know in the chat. Me and Ed want to know what you guys think. We both are curious. Wouldn't she be saying, hey, what are we doing? This is not normal. Why are we doing all this stuff? Why are we going all over the place? You never hear her say that when she's interviewed and interrogated. She never mentions that, hey, I thought this was an odd day. She just says, oh, I just agreed to take a ride with him and he would take me to Starbucks, which they did do. But let me know what you think in the chat. I'm going to put it back.
And what angle is this, sir?
This is facing a northerly, direction. That's Route 8 north. That's Route 8 south.
And same question, please, stop.
Oh,
Okay. On the upper left-hand side of the screen.
So now remember, folks, the
I'm sorry,
bike.
how did you pick that?
Ed?
The bike is in the bed and Jennifer's in the passenger side of the car.
Truck as opposed to another red truck.
so in this image, you can see it appears it's a chrome style rear bumper, which was on. That's sort of the one that's of interest in here. We have the same color wheels in this photo, and it's also an extended cab.
Now, I'm going to draw your attention over to the right side of the parking lot. Do you see that where the cursor is?
Yes,
Okay,
But
Ron, we can
also a
skip
red
this.
truck?
that is interesting.
Okay, is that a red Toyota Tacoma?
No, it's not.
Okay, how do you know?
Okay, right there, Ron.
That looks like a
If you can, please tell me to stop it
Yeah, that's it. Let it play. He's going to stop it when
when
he
you
sees the car.
see anything, if anything.
So there's another view from that same location.
By the way,
of
all
the-
3 of these clips, what's the time?
11:40 hours.
Okay. And the one before it was also 11:40?
Yes.
And the one before that as well? Okay,
Okay,
so it's safe to say that all 3 of these clips depict the same vehicle moving.
Right.
Vehicles you found,
Stop right there, Ron.
the Valley Transit was
Okay, folks, so what we didn't show you, what we just skipped over by accident, was that the school safety officer from, hold on a second, let me just bring up my notes.
If you can, please tell me to stop it when you see anything, if anything. Okay. And By the way, do you know if that's correct?
Ron, you showing it or?
Yeah, I'm showing it.
No, okay, I don't, hold on, right, wait a second, right there.
It's the red truck, right?
Well, yeah, before we get to this, so the New Canaan police officer, from school safety officer, so she was asked to search 11 bus cameras that morning. And she found 2 buses that found the red pickup truck, okay? Bus number 1146 and bus number 15056 found the red Tacoma on the Prone Road on the left side, facing north at 7:05 and then again at 7:40 and 7:50 and 7:58. So that red pickup truck was parked on the same road that Jennifer's abandoned Suburban would be found later that day. Okay, so and then all these videos come in, so it's giving us a complete timeline and movement of this red Tacoma. So now we're going to go into this last part where the Tacoma is going to go into Fotis's property, taken by 77 Mountain Road video.
It froze, so let me just play it one more time here. All right, then you see immediately thereafter.
This is the cross.
No, go back. But this is a good part because the defense attorney gets spanked here.
Well, we'll have to play that because we want to hear him get spanked.
So we know the exact time. No, go back. We're too far ahead.
Do you know if that's correct?
The time is not correct.
There it is, up there in the corner. It's returning. And so he gives the correct time and date that it's returning to the property on the 24th.
5:45:34 a.m.
Well, it's 24 hours and 10 minutes ahead of time. So it's actually May 24th at wait a minute. That's it leaving. I'm sorry. That's 5:40.
Yeah.
Keep going. Let's see what it says.
What is the time?
It was roughly 24 hours, a day behind, so the date is wrong, it should be 5:24, and it should be, and I think the time was roughly 10 minutes fast.
Okay, so that's when it was leaving.
Sir, did you utilize this video in your, I guess, assignment given to Trooper LeBeau as well as your own review?
Yes.
Why?
It was important to know times left, distance traveled, so we can start calculating rough estimates of when vehicles will be passing certain areas.
So the vehicle you found on
We'll go
Valley
back.
Transit was at what time again?
11:40 in the morning.
How far
So-
away is Valley Transit from?
Should I jump forward?
Just go back a little bit.
Back?
Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see they show the car pulling into the driveway. I didn't see it. What? That's it coming out. We'll need the one going in. Just past there. Right, let's try that. I'm not sure.
This is 5 p.m.
Let's see which way the car is going. Oh, okay, it's no. That's them coming out now. Go back, Ron.
I don't know where it is.
It's right. It's wherever it's okay. The 5 p.m. one is them leaving after it has been there for that almost 5 hours. Okay, where MT went there to help him clean, right? Head to your left. What was the time on that?
It's 5.
Okay, just let her play from there. No, not that.
I don't know what to do here.
All right. It should be to your left.
Well, it's not. I go back to the bus.
Okay, just let it play to the end, because this is where the defense attorney gets up and starts challenging him about the whereabouts of the Raptor. And he gets spanked good by this detective.
I'm going to stop it there, sir. Do you see the time up on the upper right?
Yes,
Do you know if that's correct?
the time is not correct.
What is the time?
It was roughly 24 hours before, roughly 5:25, 5:30 in the evening, that vehicle seen pulling out.
Let's play
Okay, so
file
that-
6.
So what ends up happening in this video is the Suburban comes out first and makes a right. And then the Tacoma comes out next and makes a right. This is after they've been in here. The Tacoma pulls in around 12-ish and has been in there the entire time.
Did you see that
All right.
vehicle, sir?
I did.
I'm going to back it up a little bit and ask you a question.
So it's during this time that they feel that
And what is the
Jennifer
ticket on the
is
screen now,
possibly dismembered.
sir?
Terrible.
A black Suburban pulling out.
And they're cleaning up the mess in there.
What's the time?
5:37:25.
And in real time?
5:27:25 on 5:24.
24?
Okay, let's get to the defense attorney. There
You
you
were
go.
only looking, and that was
Absolutely.
you indicated you assigned Trooper LeBeau to watch all those
Yeah,
videos.
let's go up a little further.
Yes, sir.
He was supposed to be looking for a red Toyota Tacoma,
Oh my God.
correct?
Correct.
Okay. So my question has to do with whether anyone was charged with going to the Valley Transit to look for either whether the Ford Raptor was passing around the same time.
No.
Was anyone charged with
This is it,
checking
this is it.
whether any black Chevy Suburban traveled that area around the same time?
No.
Did anyone check to see whether a white Jeep Cherokee passed through that area at any particular
No.
time? Because you were aware that Pavel Gumieni, whose name you mentioned before, also drove one or more of those vehicles, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But it's also my understanding that Trooper LeBeau had been tasked with watching hours of video in both directions, right?
Yes.
And did he tell you that he saw multiple red pickup trucks during that entire time?
There was a report of a vehicle that was closely resembled this Tacoma we were looking for. However, I was alerted to that there was different color bumpers and there was no side steps.
And those were the only two vehicles in the hours he watched that even remotely appeared to be red Toyota Tacomas. Is that what you're saying?
That's what was reported to me.
Okay. So, the videos in the northbound lane appear to be and I'll play it again, but appear to be substantially darker than the videos we've seen of the Merritt Parkway Tacoma. Is that just based on lighting, or is there some other reason that the vehicle that we just witnessed driving?
Can we jump up a couple seconds?
Say again?
Can we jump up a couple seconds?
Dark red, burgundy color almost. Well, I'll play it.
Okay.
First of all, while we're at this, I'll play the clip. They're not very long.
Okay, right there, let that. That's it. So this is at what would be 12:22 p.m. on the 24th. The red Tacoma comes back, but before it went back, a Ford pickup truck drove by, and this is the defense attorney's going to question him about this.
Play it froze, so let me just play one more time here. Right, then you see immediately thereafter the red pickup pull in, correct?
Yes.
So that vehicle that went by, were you able to discern what kind of pickup that was?
Yes. Not definitely, but it appeared to be consistent with a red pickup truck.
No, the one that
Oh,
went by,
it appeared to be a Ford.
appeared to be a black Ford pickup.
It looked, I mean, this screen looked bluish.
But it was at least, it appeared, well, the colors aren't exact in any of these videos, are
I can't tell you that. I don't know.
they? In any event, it appeared to be a Ford pickup truck, right?
That's what it appeared like to me.
Consistent with a Raptor?
No,
No.
no.
Okay. I'm also gonna ask you to look at you see the pavement here. This was at 12:22 in the afternoon on May 24th, correct?
Yes,
And this here is part of the roof of the Manafort house across the street, correct?
correct.
Okay, you can skip just a little bit.
Say again?
You can skip up just a little bit because he's going to question him about the rain.
Is at 12:22.
Correct.
Okay, let's see what happens. He should get into the infotainment system information now. The Suburban, the Jeep, and the Raptor had infotainment systems that were downloaded by the Connecticut State Police.
I just have a moment.
Yes.
It should be coming
I
now.
just have one or two final questions. Just to be clear about what assignment you gave. You did in fact give Trooper LeBeau an assignment to look for whether any Ford Raptors were traveling in that vicinity at that time, correct?
Correct.
But no report was given to you about any specific Ford Raptors in that time frame, correct?
Correct.
I have no further questions.
Okay, watch this.
Just briefly, if I can, Your Honor.
Yes.
Sir, with respect to Attorney Schoenhorn's questions about review of video surveillance regarding the Raptor, do you remember that line of questions?
Yes,
Okay, and Trooper LeBeau informed you of the Raptor or seeing the Raptor or something similar to the Raptor on traveling on the Merritt Parkway at various times? Is yes or no, or did he?
yeah, he eventually reported to me that there was a Raptor seen, but you got to keep in mind, we also had other corroborating evidence where we knew this Raptor was. So I'm going to leave it there for that.
Well, let me ask you this, sir. Did you follow up with where the location of the Raptor was through the use of the vehicle itself?
Yes,
In what way?
Burla.
What's a burla?
Burla is the infotainment system inside the vehicle. It yields GPS coordinates, phones that connect to it and things like that such.
We heard Tommy talk about this program
Yep.
in previous videos, our auto crimes expert.
So they
Were you
knew
able to obtain the burla infotainment center from the Raptor?
Yes, prior to the canvas on the highways.
Okay, so with
I believe he actually is a rep for Burla right now.
with
Okay.
respect to the Toyota Tacoma, was there a burla system or infotainment center
There was
from
not,
the 2001 Toyota Tacoma?
there was not a entertainment system in that Tacoma.
Okay, so why is that?
Older vehicle, technology was older.
Okay, so with respect to the newer Ford Raptor, you were able to determine its location based on the burla system.
Correct.
Okay, did that infotainment center go to the state forensic lab?
Yes,
Okay, and did they submit a report?
we received that report on May 31st.
Okay, which was prior to the date that Trooper LeBeau was given his assignment? Correct?
Yes,
Okay, so when Trooper LeBeau reviewed the video cameras with respect to the Toyota Tacoma, you did not have any burla or infotainment center with respect to the Toyota Tacoma,
correct.
but you had one for the Raptor?
We did, and you got to keep in mind, it was under review. We got it on a Friday, so that the following weeks, yes, it was under review.
Nothing further, thank you.
Now, the defense attorney can't sit down.
You had submitted, you didn't get an actual report from the lab about the Burla, that's the OnStar system, is that what you're talking about?
No, different than OnStar.
But Burla is, I understand it's different, but Burla is some kind of a location system for, it's like a infotainment system, right?
Yeah, it's part of, again, I'm not a subject matter expert in dumping these. Think of Celebrate with the cell phones, think of Burla with the vehicle
You
infotainment
could
system. It's like
download,
you could download data off that vehicle.
and without getting any specific about it though, were you able to determine whether the Raptor was in any particular town that day?
Yes,
You were.
yes.
I have no further questions.
Oh, boy, he runs back to his seat.
Sergeant, you may step down.
All right.
That was pretty good. Well,
Yeah,
we
so
didn't-
you don't ask a question you don't know the answer to.
yeah,
all right.
we didn't finish day 14 and day 15. And there was just short little clips from those days that you had highlighted. I don't know.
That's
if you-
okay. Those days, first of all, if you could do just the one, this was all about, in those days, you had the latent fingerprint expert come in and tell, about the fingerprints that he was able to identify to Fotis from various items that he processed.
Right.
Then you had the first biological forensic technician come in and talk about all the tests. Now, the defense attorney keeps making big hay about not doing confirmation tests in the laboratory. And the lab analyst just basically told him, look, we're not going to consume all this blood. If we got a positive for a presumptive positive out in the field, we're going to submit it directly to DNA, and the DNA will tell us what we need to know. So there's no need to put a second step in here and do a confirmatory test on this. We'll just push it right to DNA, and then DNA will do their thing. And if they get a profile, then we know it's blood. Okay. So anyhow, that testimony came in, but then the next lab analyst came in, and she laid into him. Let me see.
Can you tell the audience a little bit about this Burla program? And Tommy is a retired auto crimes expert. Our good friend Tom Burke, who came on, is an NYPD retired auto crimes expert, and he actually explained what these programs do in the infotainment system. But that attorney obviously didn't know what he was talking about there.
Right, he didn't know, and he paid for it when he asked him, "Do you know where the car was this day?" And he confidently said, "Yes, I do."
Yeah.
Okay, and that's something that the defense attorney should know, because that was discoverable. He has that information. Okay, I guess he didn't do his homework.
No,
but that said, so the infotainment system contains a lot of data of the vehicle, and the date and time, movements, GPS locations, whether your cell phone hooked up to the infotainment system and was using the internet through it, and text messaging through it, and cell phone calls through it. All that data is in there. Okay, and so they were able to download that infotainment system, and using the software, pull out all of this information as to exactly on the 24th, during the time they're looking for the red Toyota Tacoma, where was that Raptor? Right. And they're going to be able to do that for the Suburban, and they're going to be able to do it for the Jeep as well, because they're late model cars with those infotainment systems in it.
Yeah. I just want to also say thank you to everyone that's in the chat here and being civil. I know everyone just wants answers to the questions, and at this point in time in the trial, there's a lot of unanswered questions. But if you sit tight and you watch this thing as it unfolds, I'm sure that the prosecution is not going to just leave the shoelaces untied, so to speak. And
Ron, you're 100% right.
Yeah, and the judge said it. If the prosecution wants to play or tell us this, and he went with guitar notes. He said to them, if the prosecution wants to tell us this in G and A, let them do it. That's just how it's going to happen.
Right. So, Ron, let's just show that last video.
Which one is it?
The last day.
Okay, day 16.
Yeah.
Sure. I had a small clip from day 14 that I was going to show, but I'll shut that down. And
show the 16th one. This is where this forensic analyst from the lab smacks the defense attorney over the stupid question that he posed her.
All right, so day 16, we have the 2 hour and 33 minute mark, and I think that's what you're referring to, because there was
there's only one.
Yeah, 233. Let me just get that set.
233.01.
Check the chat real quick, Ed, while I do this.
Yeah.
Hashtag Ed, hashtag DutyRon. 233. All right, I got it.
So now, while we're waiting for Ron to get this, after that last video, it was the last testimony of the day of the video of the Suburban leaving the house, followed by the red Tacoma. And I was like, oh man. So tomorrow I was hoping, when we picked up the next day's testimony, that they would be into showing the rest of the route and tracking where those vehicles went. But they didn't do that. They went into latent fingerprints. They went into blood. You got it, Ron?
Yes, I do. Hey, I just want to highlight this comment. Slacker P79 has been in the chat. all night. And I know that she just wants to get to the truth, just like we all want to get to the truth. And if the state can prove their case against Michelle Troconis, so be it. But right now, a lot of things are up in the air. But because you and I have been in this business so long, we know that they're laying down the groundwork here for exactly what they have to prove, because these prosecutors aren't dummies, as the defense attorney isn't a dummy, and some can argue with me on that. But Slacker P79, I kind of insinuated that she was listening to Facebook and Twitter, which I mean, I got to say, I'm guilty of going there too. And the reason I call it Facebook is because not everything, but a lot of stuff that I hear and see on Facebook turns out to be not true. And it's just people just going on and on about things. So I wanted to clear that up. She's basing it on the trial. Here we go. This is what Ed just set up. We're going to listen to this. And this is the expert retired forensic examiner from the state lab, Anita Belonis.
Case. It's, let's see if I find the exact. It's from Exhibit 42, Folder 4, Item 7. I'm just going to show you an image. And I just want to make sure this is not how you would examine. This is not how you would examine or store the items. It takes about, I guess, 10 seconds for this to, if you would look at that screen. This is not how you would store the items that you are examining, is it?
Well, I just object, Your Honor. I mean, it's vague and.
Well, the question is, would you store items as they would appear in a trash can on a city street? The answer is obvious.
Yeah, it's an obvious answer, but what would the answer be?
Clearly, I would not store evidence in a trash can on a city street.
Now, you don't know the items that you looked at. Were you even aware it came out of a trash receptacle on Albany Avenue at the corner of Green and Albany?
Yes.
But nobody ever showed you this image, did they? 4-272.
I've never seen this image before.
Is it fair to say that if this is how the items were in the receptacle, there might be some cross-contamination of the items as they were presented to you?
Yes, but I also need to mention that crime scenes are not forensic laboratories.
Exactly. Right.
Bingo.
You are doing the science, right?
Yes.
You are taking the items individually, correct?
I take them in as they are packaged by the submitting agency.
You do not take into consideration whether they might have been mixed up or even dumped together in another item, and so they would be easily transported before they came to you, correct?
I trust the submitting agency to perform their duties as they are trained, and I take in the evidence as it is presented to me.
All right, so you would trust them to handle it correctly is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
So dumping everything from that barrel into one larger construction bag and bringing it someplace else, would that not be within the protocol as you understand it?
I don't see any alternative. Would you like them to spread out paper and go through this garbage can item by item on a city street?
Well,
I think I would personally also bag that, take it back to a secure location and sort through it.
Oh.
I love her.
By doing
Love
that, you also agree that it would.
I got to show your face, Ed, because the smile that you have on your face, you talk about this all the time, is that you need to bring these items back into a controlled environment, not on a city street, and start going through.
It's exactly right. Listen, the crime scene investigators did everything right here. The cross-contamination already occurred, okay? There's nothing they could have done that's the way it was found. Now, they can't, as she suggested to him, what would you have them do? lay out brown paper on the sidewalk and take these things out in the middle of, no, you bring it to a secure environment. This is exactly what they did. They did it right. They did nothing wrong here. And this guy's an idiot. And
Yeah,
she slapped him and said, go sit down now, child.
Yeah, and I wanted to play that and show your face. I got to see you. I wish that I would have had us on like this when that was playing, but the smile on your face was just like, yeah, sit down, bitch boy.
He's trying to suggest the crime scene investigators did something wrong, and they absolutely did nothing wrong. They did not break protocol.
Amazing.
What did they do? They took it to a secure location, and then they stopped the cross-contamination. They separated everything and packaged everything individually as they're supposed to do,
right,
and submitted it to her as they were supposed to do.
Exactly.
I love her.
She wasn't taking his shit. Absolutely. 100%.
You could see she was pissed too.
Yeah.
What were they supposed to do, counselor?
Schmitty says, this reminds me of the correction officer at the Vanderrock when she was being booked at the county jail. Only this lady was vocal. Yeah, the correction officer gave the look like, there's more here, right? Does this continue on?
Yeah, that does happen a lot by the defense. Yeah, no, that's where I wanted to go with that. That's it. But what we can do is, if you'd like to continue, is bring up the affidavit.
The arrest affidavit. It's actually the arrest warrant, as they refer to it in the state of Connecticut.
All right, folks. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Okay, because this stuff hasn't.
It's 35 pages, by the way.
Right. So right away, they've gotten up to the DNA section where they submitted stuff to DNA also, and there was hair and fiber analysis done by this young lady as well. And she found human hairs with the skin tissue and the bulb on them, and she split them and sent it to DNA. So the DNA testimonies should be coming this week. But spoiler alert, we're going to show you the results of the evidence right now.
Okay, it's 35 pages. We're not going to go through it all. And by a show of hands in the chat here, who would like us to continue to go here? It's an hour and 30 minutes already. This could take us probably another 15 minutes. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to see us continue to go with this arrest warrant and break it down. Put a 2 if you'd like us to do it in a separate show. Thank you for that, Slacker P79. For the record, I love Ron and Ed, and I respect both of you so much. Ed, I think you are the standard for crime scene investigations.
Thank you very much.
He's following international standards, right? And
absolutely, and I teach them.
Yeah,
so I practice what I preach. But anyhow,
look at LT.
Right, you know it, Pete. LT, thank you. But we're just gonna go over the evidence. We're not gonna read through all this other stuff. We're just gonna get to the large sections of the evidence.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna put it up with us on here because let me know in the chat if you could see this, or if you prefer us off the screen and see it full screen like this. If you want us on, put a 1. If you want it this way, put a 1. If you want it this way, put a 2. Let's see how everybody thinks. I like it like this because you could see it really clearly. But
can you collapse that right side, that right window? Yeah, that. Can you collapse that? Is there a way to collapse that? No, don't worry about it. Just go for it.
Let me just see. Yeah, I got it.
There you go. Because that made it bigger. Okay.
All right.
So
but I can go here and I can make it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So let's scroll down to the evidence.
I didn't see what everybody said.
What's that?
If they were not on the screen.
All right. Keep it clean.
All right, I'm going to go full screen here. All right, so this is basically Superior Court, writing it out, but let's get down to the evidence. You know what page that's on?
Yeah, keep going. You'll see it right there. Let's start with this. So here's the blood evidence that they presented, right? So blood-like stains on the Land Rover hood, the Land Rover bumper, the Land Rover rear fender, the stain for the kitchen sink faucet. So right now we have Jennifer, this is ID'd by DNA on the first 3 stains that were submitted from the Land Rover. The kitchen sink is a combination mixture of Jennifer and Fotis. Okay. The blood-like stain on the kitchen cabinet is Jennifer. The swabbing of the knob plate to the mudroom is Fotis. Okay. the blood-like stain on the garage door is Jennifer. The blood-like stains on the east garage wall, Jennifer.
And this all goes back to week 1 of the trial, by the way.
Yeah. Yep. Let's go. Just keep going. And then we'll get to the next section of evidence. I highly recommend you all read this because there's a lot of good information in here. Okay, here we go. So, blood-like stain from paper towel comes back to Jennifer. Sponge recovered from the garbage, Jennifer. Mop handle recovered from the garbage, Jennifer. A black garden glove from inside, Fotis Dulos. Okay, all right. Black husky gloves, exterior, Jennifer's blood. Vineland, Jennifer's shirt, so it's Jennifer's DNA. The bra, Jennifer's DNA. The clear ponchos without a hood, Jennifer's DNA. The clear poncho with hood, Jennifer's DNA. The zip ties, Jennifer's DNA. The textile brand bath towel, Jennifer's DNA. Okay. The plastic garbage bag taped together with black tape, DNA match to both Jennifer Dulos and Michelle Troconis. Okay. Black plastic bag with black tape, DNA match Jennifer Dulos. 4 pieces of black bag with duct tape, right index fingerprint, Fotis Dulos. Torn black plastic garbage bag on a knot, one side round brown, red brown stain, blah, blah, blah. Right middle finger, fingerprint ID to Fotis Dulos, left middle finger, Fotis Dulos. Okay, swabbing of interior of bag knot, Jennifer Dulos.
Ed,
So
can I just ask you something, because I know everybody in the chat wants to ask you this, so I have to stop you. The 2 plastic garbage bags taped together with black tape, DNA matched to both Jennifer Dulos, our victim, and Michelle Troconis.
Yep.
What does that say to you right there?
She touched that tape or the bag.
That
Okay.
she helped seal up that bag or put the tape on the bag with her bloody clothing or bloody items inside there with her blood.
Yep. Okay, so
Where we swab.
okay, let's look at the bottom. Swabbing a bag opening and separate bag portion at the bottom. Okay, because everything else is Jennifer Dulos. Here you have DNA match to Jennifer Dulos, DNA match to Fotis Dulos, and DNA match to Michelle Troconis. Okay.
Bam. That's
All right.
damning right there.
So, I mean, she's got some explaining to do, right? And trust me, the defense attorney is already with the child welfare person is trying to make a case for DNA transfer evidence from the children and even from Jennifer during that ad hoc party in the back of Jennifer's house,
Where he
with
brought all the
cake.
food and everything.
Right, with the cake and touching the kids and touching the utensils and trying to say, I'm sure he's going to make this argument when it comes to his case that this is all transferred DNA. Okay.
Would anybody here have trusted Fotis Dulos to eat the food that he brought on that day? And I know he didn't poison his kids, but could he have had something separate aside just for Jennifer to eat? I don't know. Things that make you go,
Okay, there's something else that's missing here. I don't, I can kind of understand why. The fingerprint expert, who also worked for the NYPD as well back in the day, he identified 4 fingers and a palm to a New Canaan police sergeant on the Range Rover.
whoa. And that was that in this arrest warrant or?
No, it's not in the arrest warrant. It came out in the latent fingerprint examiner's testimony.
Okay. All right. Now we have interviews. I saw something else here. What else do we got?
It talks about Traconis' interviews and a lot of her statements and unsolicited remarks that she made.
Yeah.
Talks about her inconsistencies in some of her statements.
Yeah, this is 35 pages, folks. And as Ed said, I recommend you go and read this stuff. I'll link a description. In the description, I'll link a link so you guys can go read this. I'm sure most of you have read this. By a show of hands in the chat, who has read this complete arrest affidavit, arrest paperwork, 35 pages, arrest warrant application? It's a good read, and I think you guys should check it out. This is everything that we heard about the interview number 1, interview number 2. Is there more evidence, or was that it, Ed?
I think keep going down. I think that was all I saw.
They talk about the video footage from Starbucks.
Right.
We
Right.
saw
They list all those timelines of the videos that we just played, okay, and the ones that we didn't play, like the school safety officer and the school buses. By the way, when the school safety officer was testifying, they did not show the actual video because there are several video cameras in the bus and on the outside of the bus, and some of those images could not be redacted,
Right.
and it showed the children, so the judge would not allow the children to be identified.
a lot of conversation and a lot of mention here of Traconis.
Oh, go to 30. Go to 30. No. It was right there. You just had it. It said 30, bullet 30. Yeah, go to that one. Slide down. Yeah, the bicycle. Okay. So you can see everything you want to know about the bicycle, how and what it was like, and then where it was originally in Fort Jefferson, and it wasn't there, and that they can see here the logo consistent with the bike, with the vintage bike, was found in the Albany trash receptacle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to post the link, Slapstick. It's going to be in the description. Give me a little bit. Hey, I thought it was also odd that I heard the detectives talk about during their testimony, I think in day 16 or 15. Don't hold me to those days, but it was one of those days that the truck appeared to be detailed.
Oh yeah, it's in there. It's in there. It's in that affidavit there. They paid 300 and change.
Yeah, completely armor-all tires and so forth.
Yeah, Fotis and Michelle drove to the car wash and paid over $300 to have that Toyota detailed. Okay, and there's footage of it right there. Go back up. Go back up. It was right there.
I think it's right here.
No, slow down. Scroll down just a little bit. Just before you had it there, there was a handwritten there correction right there. The dark colored vintage bicycle consistent. Okay, that was the bicycle. But if you go down, they talk about they have surveillance footage of Michelle and Fotis at the car dealership. At the car wash, and they know the exact car wash. They have the information, the list, the name of it, and that they had that entire truck detailed for like $300 and change.
School bus here.
They really did some bang up job canvassing these locations for that video. We keep telling you, like when we did the story on the San Antonio double homicides, how important those surveillance footage is and how available they are. They're out there. You just got to look for them. You just got to have the manpower to run these things down.
Yeah, this is a lot of detail here, and a lot of surveillance, a lot of work. 35 pages worth.
Go back up just slightly. Okay, 528 80 Mountain Spring Road residential surveillance shows the Ford Raptor pulling out onto. Okay, yeah, all that timeline is there. So they have these movements. They have this information.
And why are they getting a piece of shit truck detailed for $300? Huh. I'll tell you. Because they wanted that thing wiped clean. And can they, in fact, wipe it clean, Ed?
No, as you can see, when they took that door panel apart, the biological forensic analyst.
Here we go.
Right, yeah.
Here it is. He reportedly, they both looked surprised to see him. Doulos, what were they doing? And he reported they were cleaning. Doulos reported he was cleaning windows while he was cleaning some stuff up outside. Oh, that's at the house. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's where he brought the body.
Hmm. All right, let's go to the chat. Let's look at everybody and say hello in the chat. We're going to get ready to wrap this up.
Also, wait, one last thing, Ron. Those bogus plates that was in the FedEx package they ditched in the sewer.
Right.
Okay. It's believed that those plates were placed on the Tacoma for the time period to drive down to New Canaan and kill Jennifer, bring Jennifer back, and then they were replaced with the original plates that were on the car. And those plates were submitted for DNA, and the bolts and the plates, the actual plates belonging to the Tacoma were taken off, and the bolts that held them in place were taken off and sent for DNA from the Tacoma.
Susan says, Ed or Ron, where do you think he brought the body? To that secondary home where they cleaned up for hours?
Yeah, I believe that's where, you see the video at 12 in the afternoon coming back to that location, and then you see the truck and the Suburban leaving. So who was driving the Suburban, right? And
That's a legit question.
I didn't see any videos that showed the Suburban going into that location. Was that Michelle that was driving the Suburban there with the cleaning supplies, as per her interview? And then they were there from 12 or whatever time to 5 whatever time, and cleaning up the mess they made in possibly dismembering Jennifer.
And where's the body? Nobody has that answer. Purity says, and where is her body? Yeah, if they knew, we wouldn't be in the position that we're in. Her body has not been recovered as of this day. Here's Dulos's financials. They really went into details here, talking about a noteworthy Dulos is currently involved in an ongoing suit brought against him by Gloria Farber. That's Jennifer's mom. The mother of Jennifer Dulos, in which is $2.5 million, $2.5 million is in dispute. So at the time of her murder, there was a civil suit against him for $2.5 million that she loaned him that he never paid back. This suit started in 2018. Dulos was killed in 2019. Dulos was aware of the potential financial exposure at the time of Jennifer's disappearance. And he has more about his portfolio being worth such and such. And this is all stuff that they did. This is all work that they did. The shame of this whole thing is that there are 5 kids. She was a mother of 5 kids who now have no mother. The father took the coward's way out because he couldn't face the music. He killed himself. He hooked up a hose in the car and let his car run inside his residence and cowardly took his own life.
Yeah, it was just outside of his garage, and he put the hose in the car, and
yeah, I covered that live.
Carbon monoxide.
I'll link that video that I did in 2019. I'll link it here in the description. I covered that live when the helicopters were hovering over, and I was on there.
And for more details about the bike, and if you read the affidavit, it says that the neighbor to Jennifer's surveillance video catches an unknown person in black clothing, black hoodie, riding a bicycle towards Jennifer's house the morning she went missing. And before, I think it's in between the time she left to drop her kids off at school and the time that she returned.
Yeah. Nita says, do you think Jennifer's body will ever be found? It would be anyone's guess. Look at this.
They keep saying body. It's parts. I believe with,
that would be body parts. Yeah.
Body parts.
Yeah. The office of the chief medical examiner's office statement of her being Jennifer Dulos' death. And this is on page 34 of 35.
And I know Dr. Gill very well. He used to work with me at the medical examiner's office. He was one of my instructors.
So there you have it. Dr. James Gill, chief medical examiner for the state of Connecticut. He was present with the summary of the facts thus far, including forensic laboratory results indicating a presence of blood in multiple locations at Jennifer Dulos' residence, the crime scene, the presence of her DNA associated with the blood stains, the evidence of efforts to clean the scene, and the nature of the blood spatter, not splatter, analysis. Dr. Gill was also advised of facts associated with items of evidence recovered in Hartford, which were forensically linked back to Jennifer Dulos. Dr. Gill was also provided photographs of the crime scene and evidence seized in Hartford to assist in his assessment. Following his consideration of the above facts and circumstances, Dr. Gill indicated that based upon the facts of the investigation, the degree of blood loss, as well as other factors. Now, what those other factors are is not spelled out here. He was prepared to state that Jennifer Dulos had sustained an injury or multiple injuries. This is indicative of dismembering, right, Ed?
Well, he's talking about the blunt force trauma and stabbing here.
Right, which he can consider non-survivable without medical intervention. Dr. Gill categorized the event as a homicide of violence to likely include some combination of traumatic blunt force trauma, as Ed just said, injuries such as bludgeoning, beating, and or sharp force injuries such as a stabbing / slashing. Heavy
Now,
duty stuff.
yeah, definitely. Now, remember what you're saying, why would they remove the clothes? If they were going to keep an intact body together, they wouldn't do that, right? But if they were going to dismember them, and you're using power tools like a reciprocating saw or even a circular saw, all right? I mean, remember the back of that Jeep had all these tools in it, power tools in it, right? And many of them were saws, okay? What happens if you start using those tools on a clothed body, those clothed bodies are going to jam up the power equipment.
Mm.
It's going to get caught up in the saw and get caught in the saw blade, and it's going to stop the saw from operating.
Horrific, Ed. So I want to just say thank you to everyone for hanging out here. We have 1,000 people hanging out watching us for an hour and 45 minutes. There's so much more that's going to come forward in the weeks to follow here. So if you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you're new, let us know by saying new in the chat. If you're watching on the replay, let us know that you're new by leaving us a comment in the comment section and saying new. Let's look at the poll that we did, Ed. I want to go to it now. So just give me 2 seconds. Again, I'm a one-man show. I want to go to the poll and see what everybody voted. Hold on a second. I'm getting it. And then I'll close the poll. So if you haven't voted in the poll, go ahead and take a moment and vote. We asked, do you feel the state of Connecticut, have they proved their case against Michelle Troconis thus far? And according to this poll, 53% said yes. Let's put this up on the screen so they could see it. So here's the poll. 53% have said yes. Now 54%. People are voting. This is 678 votes. 46% said no. I'll leave the poll up for another few minutes while we close out, and I'll start taking a look at it and see if it moves. But 54% says they feel that they have proven their case. Now, I'm part of the 46%. I feel that they haven't proven their case thus far, beyond a reasonable doubt. But I've been wrong in the past, but there's so much more. We have many more weeks, and the way that this trial is going at a snail's pace, we could be looking at beyond 6 or 8 weeks. What's your thoughts on that, Ed?
Yes, I agree, especially with Springbutt. You know, he's constantly voir direing, constantly. And to me, a lot of it is just needless. It's like he likes to hear his own voice, and he just gets up to kind of hear. It's like, you know, during a football game when they're about to kick a field goal, then they call timeout to kind of break up the momentum. Okay? Obnoxious. Yeah. But here's another thing, folks, that's not in that affidavit and should be coming out with further. All the hairs that were collected, there's no analysis of the hairs in that affidavit. So that information is going to come this week, I believe. Right. And the DNA results of all the hairs that were collected, because the young lady that spanked the defense attorney found a lot of human hairs, and she put it on the microphone, determined they were human, took the samples, cut the samples, sent it up, not for mitochondrial DNA, but for nuclear DNA. So we're going to get some profiles here that is not listed there. Plus, there were other trace evidence that were found, and we're waiting for the results of those because they weren't in there at the time.
The teeth, they didn't talk about pulp, the pulp from the tooth. If they were talking about teeth, I have that video. I don't want to continue on with this and let it go any further. But look, I got some sympathy from Mel. Mel says, DutyRon, I became a member because I'm so appreciative of you battling through the technology struggles. You rock, and thank you, Ed, for being awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Mel. Thank you, Mel. We got a sympathy member out of her feeling that I work through it. I do the best that I can. Listen. So Susan says, yeah, oh my God, the tooth. Yeah, the tooth.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah.
So now I can take my notes and
Blow your nose with it. There you go. Good job, Ed. Blow your nose and discard the notes. You see, unlike Ed takes the notes and gets rid of them because they're over with. I have folders in the back here. I have a filing cabinet behind me, and I have all of my notes. I keep them all because you never know when you got to go back and refer to them. So Ed, maybe you might want to take the snot out of that and keep that paper.
No, thank you. It's going right into disposal.
All right. So here's the poll. It changed. There's 696 votes. 53% say yes and 47% say no. I'm going to end the poll now. I'd like to get that poll up to 700 votes. We're two away from 700. If 2 people haven't voted, just do it. Just vote. Put in your voter registration card and vote. You know, funny, we talk about voter registration cards. So my aunt, who I bought this house from 29 years ago, she's passed a good 30 years. She passed away a year before I bought this house from her daughter. I got a voter registration card for her, like the card to go and vote. So they're still sending to my house, my aunt Margaret's. Get ready and go out and vote because we're having the vote to put.
Is she still with you?
She's gone 30 years, Ed.
Yeah, she's passed away. So then do vote.
It's crazy. All right, 714 votes, 54% yes, the state has proven their case. 46% says no. I'm going to end the poll now. If you're not yet, again, subscribed, I'm going to give away some memberships right now, and then we'll end it right now. So if you want a free membership, put a 1 in the chat. If you're not interested in a free membership, put a 2. Let's see how many ones. There might be one person that says, you know what, I don't want a freebie. I want to pay for it. 1 in the chat if you want it, 2 if you don't. 2 if you don't. Let's see. A lot of 1s. Let's see how quick this chat goes now here. DC Pacific Northwest says she's guilty. She's behind. You got to press live chat to be in the live chat. Not 1, number 2 yet. Have you seen 1 yet, Ed?
No.
Have you seen it? No. It's all a bunch of number 1s. Debbie Galloway's there. Slacker. She wants to be in. She's like, me. Oh, there's the number 3. Somebody, Smarty Pants. Let me highlight that. Peppermint 2024. Peppermint 2024 doesn't get a free membership. He or she put a 3. You're just
Hey, Ron, do you remember the Peppermint Lounge?
Oh my God. How could you forget the Peppermint Lounge?
Are we dating ourselves now?
We are. Big time. Anybody in the chat remembers the Peppermint Lounge? Put it in the chat. Let us know where it is. Okay. 724 votes, 53 to 47. We're ending the poll. Poll is closed. Thank you for voting. Let's see. Ed, how do I do this? I forgot.
What are you trying to do?
I want to give away some memberships. All right, here we go.
All right. You want me to roll the
Let's
wheel?
do it.
Okay, stand by.
So you have to be subscribed. Make sure you
for
subscribe.
considering a
Put
membership on the
what-
DutyRon
What's
channel.
happening here? Oh, it's
Here
What
me.
did you hit?
Okay, no, it's just me. If you have to be subscribed, you have to press the number 1, and you got to, give us the thumbs up on this video for a chance to get the membership. So here we
When
go.
you're ready.
Wait a
you for
minute. Hold
consider-
on. Gifting, membership gifting. Pick me. Elaine Jan says, pick me, please.
Are you ready?
No, give me a second. For fucks. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Easy.
Hold on.
Oh, hell no.
But I'm ready now, Ed. I'm ready. All right, wait. I got to gift. You have 10 memberships left to gift this month. I'm going to gift 15 memberships. Ready?
Okay.
Hit the
Ready?
wheel. I don't hear it. Can't hear it. So there's 5. Lori Phillips got 1. Jules Crafting got a membership. Erica Olson, a good friend of ours, gifted a membership. Congratulations, Erica. And all who likes when we give away memberships. I don't know if do many other creators do that. I'm sure many do, but I like to do it. Membership gifting. Here's 5 more. You ready? Put a 1 in the chat. Make sure you subscribe. Ed's
Ready?
saying, there we go, Ed.
I got to spin it again. Here we go.
Spin it again. Okay. 5 more. I can't hear it.
You can't hear it. I'm hearing it. It's blasting away in my ears.
Yeah, well, it's not coming through. So forget about that, Ed. Let's do it. More memberships.
Oh, I see the problem. I see the problem. I got to correct it. Let me know when you're ready. I got to correct it.
Get with the program, Wallace. Jackie Smith was gifted a membership. Laura W. gifted a membership by Ed Wallace and DutyRon. Ed is spinning something. He doesn't know what he's
You spin me right.
right. Okay, so I promised 15 memberships. There they are. 5, 10, 15. Congratulations to all the new members. Make sure you're subscribed and you'll have a chance on the next live stream. This has been an hour and 56 minutes. Ed, I don't remember the last time we were live for 2 hours, but this has been continuous coverage of the Michelle Troconis trial, week 3 recap with CSI expert Ed Wallace and yours truly, DutyRon. Michelle Troconis stands charged with conspiracy to commit murder of Jennifer Dulos and other charges. So let's hope and pray that the prosecution and all who are involved has a successful result to this trial for justice for Jennifer Dulos, whose body we don't know where she is at this point. 5 kids who are now on their way of growing up without her parents. Her mom is taking care of them. And Ed, I want to thank you for sticking on this case and sticking with it and pointing out the highs and lows. And I want to also make one disclaimer here. Ed Wallace and DutyRon are not in the business to tell you guys that something's going right when it's not. But we are going to tell you when things are going right and when things are going wrong. And we're doing it from our personal perspective, our experience. And Ed's experience runs deep. And I got to tell you, sometimes you may hear things that you do not like from us, but we're not going to sit here and lie to you and force feed you a narrative that doesn't exist. So if something's happening, you're going to get it straightforward. And that's why in the beginning of the shows, Ed and I always say, we're going to give you true crime from the police detective's perspective. And that's what you get here. Right, Ed?
You got it. 100%. Yes, Debbie Carroll, I'll see you tomorrow watching the trial.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll be in the chat in Law and Crime watching it tomorrow. I want to thank everyone for watching the replay, the moderators, the replay viewers, the new members, the members who are here for a long, long time. Jennifer Noble's been a member for, almost 4 years, 3.5 years, and so many others who are longtime supporters. I see them all. I love you guys all, and I thank you for all being here in the chat. Slacker P, it wasn't your night. I tried with 15, but if you hang around when the chat is done and the live stream is over, I usually gift another 5 or so. So there's a little, I'm giving away a little bit of a secret. When I hit end stream, I gift away a couple more. So hang in there, folks, for another chance. I'm going to give you guys another chance to get some free memberships. So hang in and we'll talk to you soon. Ed, I know you always got something to say.
Oh, folks, I want to thank you for spending your valuable time with us tonight. And now you're all caught up to speed on the trial. So you're ready for tomorrow's opening testimony at 10 o'clock, hopefully. And that said, always be safe, be prepared, and watch your 6.
Amen, folks. Good night from New York City. And we will talk to you soon on the next one. If you're not, again, yet a subscriber, consider it at this time. Peace, guys. Love and respect.